Hello, digital to analog converters week is over. Actually, I've got a few additional digital to analog converters, portable ones, that I'd like to cover, but I think we need to make a short break. I've got an idea for the next thematical week, but today I want to cover the model that is waiting for a few weeks in the review queue. And that's one of my most favorite companies. It's IMR. Actually, I had to receive this model like before the New Year holidays, but unfortunately, due to mistake, it was sent to my old address. It traveled to Ukraine. At the post office for 30 days, and then it was sent back. It returned back to IMR and then resent to the proper destination. And fun thing is that post office in Ukraine even didn't try to notify any of my relatives who live at the same address that there is some parcel waiting on the mail. So this review is a bit later than it was expected, and actually this model most probably you won't be able to buy because it's Rah, it's their triple hybrid model, and it's already sold out. Actually, looks like IMR decided to shift towards so-called boutique model, releasing new versions of in-ear monitors. All of them are really interesting, but they are released in really small batches from 200 devices up to like 500 devices, and when they are sold out, they sold out. I'm not a big fan of this idea because it makes some pressure on me, because I'd like to have every single model that they release, and I actually already missed two models. It's PB1 and Halcyon, or how it should be pronounced. Anyway, in future they will release definitely a lot of new exciting models, so probably I will grab them. But anyway, I think they are free to do whatever they like. I really like IMR designs and builds, and I really like the community that is formed around this company. You know, it's one of the most peaceful and friendly threads on the Hi-Fi, because everyone's supporting each other, everyone's sharing positive feedback, so you know, it's really like it's own small world. Anyway, today we will talk about the Rah. It's probably can be considered as an upgraded version of the A10. I really reviewed them before, so I will add links to the description. R2 A10 was nice, and actually there is another very great in-ear monitors by IMR that is waiting in the review queue. It's R2 Red. I will cover them a bit later, but Rah uses a new additional driver type, so it uses 15mm dynamic driver with beryllium coated diaphragm and strong powerful magnets. Also it uses signature ceramic driver for the treble, but the most interesting thing is that here they've added planar drivers on the mid frequencies. So today we will have a look at the Rah. Price actually was, I don't remember the price, it was about £500 or £600, but often with IMR there is discounts, loyalty codes and so on, so it's really entertaining, or how to call it. You really entangled into this system. You're getting new models, because with next models you are getting the discount for purchasing the previous models, so it's a pretty fun world, but actually it works, and you're getting really good in-ear monitors for really fair price. So let's have a closer look now. Speaking about technical specifications, sensitivity is 103 over 105 decibels, and impedance is 24 ohms or something like that. So in general I don't remember the exact figures, but it's like average, not too sensitive, not too tough to drive, so just perfect. And let's have a closer look. There is no retail box, and I think the idea of packing everything into this nylon bag is really nice. Additionally, you will have the small storage pouch, because not everyone likes this big case, so you can carry in-ear monitors with you in this smaller case if you like. But actually this bag is really convenient, it protects well your in-ear monitors, and it looks stylish, at least for me. There is a handle for easy carrying, so nice. Zipper, really smooth. And inside we'll have warranty card, short manual with basic information, and additional booklet about the tuning filters, because sound tuning filters is one of the signature parts of the IMR. So as in previous models, here used two-step tuning system. So lower filter is bass, changing the bass amount, and upper filter changing the treble. But actually, you know, on this frequency response, many filters looks really in really similar way, but in practice difference is bigger, so you can adjust the sound. Inside you will have in-ear monitors themselves. I actually pull them out because I'm actively using them and spent time burning them in, so they were taken out. Also set of tips, 4 pair of single flange silicons, 2 pair of foams, and a pair of double flange tips, so nice set. 6.3mm adapter and 2 set of filters, so for lower frequencies and for the treble. All of them are organized in nice convenient organizers. And short clip, additional set of filters, and second cable, so you can have both single-ended and balanced. I hope in future IMR will add Pentacon connectors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pair of filters, 8 pair of filters, because there is also one installed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pair of treble filters, so how much? It's 48 combinations or something like that. So if you're getting something from IMR, prepare to spend a lot of time tuning them, changing them to your taste. But of course there is not much sense in trying every single combination. There are well proven combinations that already tested by the community, and that simplifies everything pretty much. So here are in-ear monitors themselves. As you can see, if you've seen reviews of previous in-ear monitors, design changed a little bit. Gone are sophisticated venting port systems. They are proven to be not really useful, because almost everyone used either open or closed version, so it's just regular stainless. It's probably stainless steel. I'm not sure is it aluminum or stainless steel, but probably it's stainless steel shell with 2 venting ports on the upper and lower part. Level of machine work is really good. Everything is done in accurate and precise way. Actually, you can unscrew these tiny screws and take a look at inside, but of course if you are careful and good with screwdriver. So here they are. So as you can see, here is this two pieces filter system, so you can unscrew both upper and lower parts separately. It's really tight, but it's doable, so I need a bit better grip, so I usually use a piece of cloth to do that. Anyway, here you can see some internals, not pretty much interesting, but there is some protective grill inside. So let me screw it back. So everything is done really accurate. There is rubber rings to ensure the better fit. There is a lip for holding the tips, but actually upper part of filter works as this lip. There is a protective grill, so it's also element of filter, so they fit in nicely inside of ears, at least inside of my ears. They have average length of the spout, so it gives also average sound isolation. And these venting ports are also reducing it a little bit, but anyway, leakage of sound isn't big to both sides, so it's pretty usable on the noisy street or in public transport, and in the quiet office it's more or less okay if you don't turn the volume too loud. Cables are made replaceable. Here used regular 2-pin connector. Let me carefully pull it. So 2-pin connector with special notch to provide the proper polarity, but regular 2-pin connectors will fit here too without issues. Stock cable connectors are tight, nicely fitting, so everything is working accurately. They have really good grip, so it's not hard to disconnect it. And stock cable is a noticeable improvement over the first models like R1 or R1Z. It's softer, it looks more audiophilic, and maybe it's not the best cable in the world, but it's really decent both in terms of acoustic performance and in terms of aesthetics and usability. So there is ear hooks without memory wire. I don't know why everyone hates memory wire nowadays, but it's not really popular option. Anyway, cable is pretty soft, not the softest one, maybe a bit softer than average, but still it has low microphonic, it's not getting hard when it's cold outside. It has pleasant look, metal splitter, and after splitter it goes simply braided down to the jack. So here is balanced 2.5mm connector. Also, as an additional accessory, you will have this leather strap for cable winding and organizing. So as you can see, in terms of design, in terms of build quality and all other related stuff, they looks really pleasant and attractive. And of course about the sound, these in-ear monitors require a burn-in and actually a lengthy burn-in. Everyone who tests them confirms with that. They require about 100 hours of burn-in, and actually during this 100 hours their sound will change few times. After about 30 hours you will have more treble, but then treble will settle and bass became more comfortable and better controlled. So there are a few cases when someone bought these in-ear monitors, left initial feedback, then started burn-in, then was surprised by sound change, like oh my god, it's too bright, but then after burn-in sound settled and returned to the, well, maybe not to the normal condition, but actually it shaped to its final form. And of course they require finding a proper tips. Some people prefer mandarins with them, other spiral dots, but for me these stock tips with orange stems are one of the best tips ever. They fit in nicely into my ears, and I often use them even with other in-ear monitors. And also, of course, there are a lot of options for the sound tuning. I browse Head-Fi thread a little bit. Looks like the most popular version is black with blue, and another popular options are black. It's kind of stock option, and everyone considers that it's Bob's favorite tuning. Bob is creator of these in-ear monitors and the engineer who tuned them. So they, out of the box, they will came with black on black. So some people consider that it's a stock tuning. Maybe it's true. And another popular option is red on red. But for me, black filter is too bassy with bigger accent on the mid bass. So I prefer the red lower part because it calms down a little bit mid bass and allows deeper layers of bass shine more. And black upper filter is a nice option for me, I like it. So it's one of the most treble present, but I'm a fan of treble, so it's an option for me. It's not actually the brightest one, there are brighter, but still this combination is best for me, but of course it's a subjective thing. But anyway, I will describe the sound for this combination. And we will need some humble player to show examples, and now finally after 3 minutes of preconditions I'm ready to proceed. So, speaking about the previous models of IMR, not everyone liked their tuning because their in-ear monitors always offers nice bass thanks to big dynamic drivers and a pretty good treble thanks to the ceramic drivers, but many people lacked mid presence or mid forwardness. I wasn't among them, but still there were some talks about mid lightness or something like that, and of course IMR did the proper thing. They've added this planar driver for the mid frequencies, and thus this model offers more forward mids with more presence. At the same time, they managed to create really coherent signature with 3 different drivers playing in a really coherent and joined way without noticeable overlaps or big issues with their conformance to each other. So, first thing that you will notice with them is bass. Bass is heavy, it's pretty big, with lot of impact, with lot of punch, with good depth. They go really deep, and they're resonating and plays really nicely. So lot of good bass. You can tweak this amount, getting less of the low frequencies or more. So as you can see, I'm using the middle version, but you can reduce bass a bit more. But I like, of course, everyone likes bass impact, so red filter is average, not too bass light. But as I've said before, black one is too mid bass focused. But many people like this signature, of course, it's a matter of preferences, but for me more linear bass with more depth is better, and that red filter gives it to me. Of course, bass is pretty fast. Actually, it's not balanced armature fast, but resolution is good, texturing is really nice, it's pretty universal. In terms of acoustic instruments, it plays really nicely with really good body and realism. But with electronic music and synthesized or sampled low frequencies, they shine the most. Actually, red lower filter is good for the acoustic instruments too, but it's just adding a bit more body to them. If you like less body, actually you can use a green filter or purple one, so it will calm down it a little bit, but for me the red one is okay. I agree with a bit not realistic instruments, but sounding sounding a bit highlighted and giving a bit funnier signature. But as an example, I will use, well, one of the greatest bass heavy albums that I've got in my collection. It's Massive Attack. If you can suggest actually some good bass heavy music, please do it, I will be really grateful. Something like this one, and actually every single track would be okay, but Man Next Door, it's just randomly picked one, and I can't always pick Teardrop, of course, so Man Next Door is also a good example. Deep, really deep, heavy hitting bass, resonating, and this in-ear monitors will give it to you, kind of small subwoofers put into your ears. Actually not the most bass heavy model that I've heard, but really heavy hitting. And what is much more important, bass is well controlled and it's not bleeding onto mids. Of course, on the bass-heavy genres, bass will dominate, but it's still just pure physics. You can't make bass-heavy headphones without bass domination. If you like to reduce it, you just can use another filter. Bass transitions really smoothly into mids, and it's surprising when we knew that mid driver is another type of driver and it's another driver at all. So mids are detailed with good transitions, but it's once again, it's not balanced armature detalization, it's planar detalization, and they are not tuned to give you maximum micro detalization because they are tuned to sounding a bit more natural. So they are not super picky to the quality of records, and they don't trying to pick every single issue with record or every single detail and throw it into your face. It plays in more organic way, but detalization is still really good. They are really good in macro dynamics with really good transitions, really fast, really realistic and lifelike. It's typical for the planar headphones, either big or small. What else I can say about them? They are pretty emotional, not highlighting emotions, but when they are present in the record, they play it really nicely. Also, good body and weight for the mids. I like, I'm not probably a big fan of detalization. Of course, decent detalization is must-have, but I'm not a fan of the micro detalization. For me, it's more important to have a proper weight, and probably it's one of the reasons why I like IMR so much. I am kind of spoiler, I'm a fan of IMR tuning, so I like the in-ear monitors. So nice, lifelike, emotional mids without being too picky for the details. Not being too picky for the quality of record. Detalization is good. So, and nice imaginary stage, so pretty spacious, noticeably bigger than average in width and both in width and depth. Not probably the biggest one, but bigger than average with good three-dimensional positioning and all other related stuff. So let's show an example. Well, Hugh, Laurie. I miss him. I did for quite a long time. I didn't use his albums as an example, and one of my favorite tracks sent me to the electric chair. I just like this story in this track. Of course, it's kind of tragic, but since it's folklore, probably it's not so tragic already. So, and it's surprising how pretty sad stories after becoming the folklore became like, well, okay, the woman wants to be executed for her husband murdering. Okay, it's a nice song anyway. So I really like this Judge Hammer hitting in the beginning. Nice, almost sounding like binaural record, and this in-ear monitors gives that. And of course, nice emotional vocal, this in-ear monitors also give it, and nice tune. So all parts of this track, they will show you at the maximum level. And treble. If you heard IMR previous models, you can probably get the idea of their treble. It's still the same piezo driver and tuned in pretty similar way, and actually it's usually the most love or hate moment in the IMR world, because some people like this ceramic super tweeters, others hate them. I'm more in the lovers group, but you can easily guess that. Yes, especially if you've seen my previous reviews. So, treble is pretty extended. As you can see, even on this chart, they extend noticeable above 10 kilohertz with slight, actually not slight, with noticeable rollback, but still rollback is less than traditional in-ear monitors. So they are pretty critical to the quality of the records in terms of treble, because often in the above 10 kilohertz area there are a lot of compression artifacts, and different noise, or just this part is poorly recorded, and it's important because this part contains overtones, usually no main tones in this area, but overtones, that things that distinguish so-called audiophilic records from the regular ones. So it's kind of, it has two sides. From one point of view, having recessed upper treble is good for modern record that suffered from the compression wars, but with proper records, this part will give you the maximum joy and maximum pleasure with all that tiniest nuances. And this ceramic driver, it plays this upper 10 kilohertz area. Actually, this driver is here mainly for that, and with good high quality records, it will give you nice level of detailization, it will give you nice amount of overtone saturation, but on the poor records it can be a bit not pleasant. But actually in-ear monitors, these in-ear monitors are tuned for the maximum natural sound. Also, thanks to these ceramic drivers, the treble has nice weight and sounding pretty realistic in terms of attacks and decays. Resolution is not maximum, it's not balanced armatures and not fancy electrostatic drivers that are more and more popular. So it's, but still, of course, nice detailization and good level of realism, nice overtone saturation and normal layering. Not superb, but really good. And as an example for the treble, I've got this disc, really recommended to everyone who likes orchestral music. It's Gothenburg Symphony Orchestra, and it's Tchaikovsky 1812 Overture, but this time I've selected Borodin Polovtsian dances and really like this piece too. It has a nice chorus, it has a lot of high-pitched sounds, and as usual for the properly recorded orchestral music, and Deutsche Grammophon is always a sign of properly recorded classical music. It's recorded nicely, and it has a lot of high pitched overtones, and Deutsche Grammophon usually preserves them, and these in-ear monitors represent it really nicely. And also this record doesn't suffer from the compression war, so dynamic range is really good, and these in-ear monitors represent it in really nice, engaging and realistic way. Of course, it's not comparable with live performance, but still for the in-ear monitors really good sound quality for even such a complicated track. In terms of pairing, they require something from the mid-level of dubs, and probably some better, something like Hugh M11 Pro or a Basso DX220, somewhere there. Kane is a bit too emotional for me, but if you like emotional representation, it's also another good option. Also, I like them with Astel & Kern signature sound, so new SA700 that I reviewed recently is really nice, giving them even a better mids, highlighting mids even more. But of course, SR15 Norma is nice if you like Astel's signature, and of course top of the line dubs are always a safe choice. Like, spend $3,500, get the Ultima, and probably you will have the decent dub for all your in-ear monitors. Of course, I'm kidding. They are not too sensitive, they don't require super black background, but of course blacker background is always a plus. Well, I already speaking for 16 minutes about the sound. Anyway, speaking about the comparisons, I don't even know how to compare them, because they're pretty different from other in-ear monitors. Like, it's silly to compare them with something like BQ EYZ Spring, because also using 3-driver hybrids, it's just cheaper and not much sense in such comparisons. And also not much sense in comparing them with Noble Audio Han, another 3-driver hybrid that I've tested. It's just step the high domain. Actually, speaking about the lows, probably the only model that I can recall that reminds this model is Noble Audio Atlas giving similar big bass, but actually here it's even a bit better controlled. And also you can tune it with filters. Well, speaking about the comparisons by price range, there are a lot of hybrids in the about $500 range, like Dunu, for example, 3001 Pro, but Dunu is more natural and have less bass. Almost all models that I can recall instantly have less bass, and less depth of bass, like Hibasso AT04. It's accenting bass, but more making accent on the mids. So, well, probably I won't even try further. Just few words comparing with previous IMR models with R2 A10. This one has more mids, more realism on the mid frequencies, and actually a bit heavier hitting on the bass. If I remember right, A10 has similar low frequencies driver, but here probably they changed something bit in tuning, so bass here is hitting a bit heavier. And treble is similar, and mids more present and more forward, so more forward mids. It's comparing with A10. Comparing with Zenith, they are less bright with a bit less brightness, but still nice resolving treble. So R1Z was like treble heavy version of IMR. So I won't try to compare them with everything, it's not making much sense. If you're interested in something particular, just please feel free to ask, but the most obvious answer will be they're just different, because all models that I can recall right now, like FIO FH7, I don't know what else we've got in this price range, SimGod EM5, all of them are different, with usually less bass, a bit different treble, because they used balanced armatures. So mids are usually different, because balanced armatures will give you a bit more detalization and focus on the micro contrast, and this one will give you more macro dynamics, so better transitions, not that tendency to pick the smallest, tiniest details. So anyway, I think I need to cut this review short. So it was IMR Rah. I'm not sure will they be available, maybe some refurbished units, maybe not, but if you find them somewhere in the second-hand market, it's a really decent option to consider. IMR having some good models in the build, so some people will receive PB1, other will receive Halcyon, maybe some people got both of them, and I'm really jealous for them. Now they are gathering funds for the next model, it's EDP, Everyday Planars, more affordable models with single planar magnetic driver, probably the one similar that is used here, and it's really promising. And they have some other models in the works with electrostatic drivers and more sophisticated hybrids. And my wallet is crying with bloody tears because of that, but anyway, of course I will get future models and I will review them. So thank you for listening. It was a long review, but I hope it was at least a bit useful, and have a nice day.